So, obviously at the moment, people are struggling to train or not training at all or doing different forms of training in relationship to what they'd usually do in the gym with resistance training. Now, obviously there are ways and means around this, but there are some people who are just going out for runs or just walking and so on. And a lot of people obviously are concerned about losing muscle. Now, there was a study done here. Now, bear in mind, this study was only over a 2-week period of time, which isn't very long, of course. Obviously, with these sort of lockdown procedures and everything else that's been going on in the world, obviously people are getting, a lot longer where they're not doing their normal heavy training. But this study looked at a 2-week period of no training after training protocols were in place beforehand. And they were looking at body composition and strength. In the case of strength, they were looking at a 1 repetition maximum on a leg press. So what they found first and foremost is after 2 weeks of no training whatsoever, they found that there was no body composition changes, none at all, which is obviously good for a 2-week period of time. Clearly going longer is going to have more problems, but over 2 weeks, not a problem at all. The interesting one, which there is good reason for as well though, is they actually found an increase in the 1 repetition maximum on a leg press. Now, the obvious reason is recovery. If you're training all the time really hard and heavy, then your performance does deteriorate behind obviously your natural improvement in muscle and strength. And when you then allow your body time to recover, its performance improvements can come. I saw this when I was younger, when I was a kid. I used to be a competitive swimmer, and I remember once we went on holiday for 2 weeks where I didn't do any training, and I came back and I just smashed all of my personal best times at a competition, very close to when I got back off holiday. And this was because usually I would have been fatigued from training itself, and therefore wouldn't have been able to unleash the potential that I'd gained. So it doesn't mean that 2 weeks of training truly gets you stronger, but it certainly doesn't diminish your strength, and because of the recovery you get, you might actually be better off for it. So deloads are really important and should be done at regular intervals, and a lot of people advocate deloads to be lighter training as opposed to no training, but I actually think that no training sometimes can be quite useful, and it certainly isn't usually 2 weeks. So even at 2 weeks, your performance improvements are there and you don't lose any muscle. So 1 week, you probably find that you can recover and not lose any strength or muscle, which means then when you go back to training, you can train even better than you did before that deload. So it improves, the deloads are even more of a good reason to be done based on this study, because it shows that actually you may get an improvement in performance from after having a deload, which of no training. So it's not only useful to know generally with regards to what's going on at the moment with not being able to train, but it's also when we get back into the gym, time off is actually really good and really helps performance, never mind the injury side of the coin or the injury prevention side of the coin. So anyway, that's it for this video, and I'll see you next time.